Welcome to Defi Crypto today. Our topic today is sheep or even sheeple. So I brought my friend the sheep here, and today we're going to talk about what not to do when you invest in the crypto markets. Basically, don't act like a sheep. It's a very common behavior in human society. People like to follow what other people are doing, like sheep do. Sheep are not the smartest animals out there, unfortunately. They're pretty, they're lovely, okay, but they only act on instinct and emotions. They don't use logic. They don't know what logic is. And we're going to illustrate something that's been happening a lot lately. And hopefully, you're not going to act like a sheep. All right, so I'm going to put this guy down here. And we're going to look at some examples and why I'm talking about sheep. One of the first people that talked about the behavior of sheep is a very famous French author from the 1500s named François Rabelais. He wrote these very funny books that were basically epics and stories. They were like a collection of stories, and they had these very famous caricatures inside the Gargantua and Pantagruel and many other people. Now, one of his stories talks about sheep and a guy named Panurge, okay, who was on a boat with a sheep merchant, okay, who they were traveling on a boat, and the sheep merchant did not get along with Panurge. Okay, he was like boasting that he was like such a great rich man and so on, that he was better than anyone else because of his famous sheep that were so amazing and so on and so forth. And Panurge took offense, and because they just didn't get along on that boat, and the sheep were everywhere. They were taking over all the space, so there was hardly any room to move on the boat. So what happened is that you can see Panurge here. Panurge bought this sheep, the one with the horns, the ram, because he figured that has to be the leader of the sheep. Okay? And what he decided to do was, he said, look, if your sheep are so freaking amazing, I'm going to buy one and we'll see, right? So he decided to buy the ram, and then he took the ram and threw it off the boat. And of course, all the other sheep followed. And the merchant was quite desperate at that point, and even jumped off the ship to try to catch his sheep. But anyway, it didn't end up well for him. So you often see this behavior. People don't think, okay, and they're ready to follow and jump off the ship or jump off a cliff or whatever. So I'm going to show a couple more pictures. Okay, I took a caricature, a French caricature, and I added my own text to it. Okay, so sorry, I'm not sure the name of the guy, Rodo, something like that. Okay, I really like your cartoon, your caricatures, so sorry if hopefully I'm not offending you. And but I thought it was interesting to use the picture for this purpose here. So basically, as we've seen in the last few weeks, okay, there's these new OHM forks that have crazy, insane APYs with numbers too big to pronounce. Okay, And of course, what do people do? They rush towards it, okay, not thinking about what's going to happen. They just figured, I'm going to make a quick buck, right? What's wrong with that? So here you got a sheep that says, by the way, did anybody look at the audit? And the other one says, what audit? Okay. People don't even read any information. You just see the insane APY, and they put their money there. In many cases, they're not careful, and they're putting way too much money. And if they lose it, they lose their head. Okay? When you see something super risky and brand new like this, I always say this in every single video, put a tiny part of your portfolio on something that you want to gamble on, because anything with an APY like this is a gamble. Especially if there's no audit, especially if you don't know anything about the people that are behind the project. Many projects, okay, and it's not just on forks right now. We've got this wave of nodes, okay, we're trying to copy a strong block, and we've got another wave of tomb forks. So it's like, you know, people see something that works. In this case, it was Olympus DAO, okay, which is very successful, and was copied by Wonderland, which is even more successful, in my opinion. And then suddenly, like, everybody and his mother wants to have an Olympus fork. And they just copy and paste the code and hope for the best, right? Now, the problem is, how do you attract those sheeple to your project? Well, of course, you have to give the highest APY ever, like this. What? That is so stupid, okay? That is incredibly insane, incredibly stupid, absolutely illogical, okay? So I blame the promoters first, because they started this APY war, okay? You cannot win an APY war. You can't. So, look, Olympus DAO has a very high APY, which is, I forget what it is at the moment, but it's something around 6,000 or 7,000%, which is already pretty insane. Okay? And Wonderland is up to about 60,000 something percent. We can check that one. Yeah, 69,000% right now. Okay, let's go back to our sheep. And the only reason it's that high is that it's so insanely profitable. The investments that they're making with their treasury allow them to be able to offer 69,000% because it makes so much revenue every single day. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars every single day. It's almost $1 million of profit per day, almost, not quite, but getting there. And the treasury is growing very fast at the moment. It's over 800 million, and it's probably going to reach $1 billion soon, which is probably the biggest treasury in all crypto world, in the entire crypto world. So it is insanely profitable. And I remember when the price crashed, because the price of Wonderland crashed, it went from 10,000 to about 3,000. A lot of people said, oh, is this a rug pull? Is Wonderland failing? No, it's not failing. It's sheeple. Sheeple. It's the act of senseless, brain-dead sheep. That's exaggerating market movements. This is what happened, and this is what is still happening right now at several projects. Some projects are recuperating. Wonderland is going back up, and some other projects are going back up as well. But this is what is actually happening at several projects. So you have got some lone black sheep here saying, buy, stake, and chill. I think I mentioned that a few hundred times in my videos, okay? That's the recipe for success if you are to invest in Olympus DAO, Wonderland, or any of those forks. If you stay staked and you don't care if the price of the token went down 10% or 20% or 30% or whatever, you're going to make a ton of cash. It's as simple as that. As long as the treasury grows, you're going to get freaking rich if you stay staked. Now, if the treasury is depleted because of that insane APY, okay, the project is in trouble. If you see the treasury shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking to nothing, that project is in big trouble. Yes. I'm going to say an example that I think looks like it's in trouble. They might be able to fix the problem. I don't know yet, but it looked like they might have problems. I'm going to show some examples, okay? But you see, this is the reaction that I hear. I see these comments on my channel almost every single day. There's a lot of sheeple out there, people. Okay? So you have on fork X, okay? Any of them. And they went from the crazy APY that nobody can pronounce because it's too big, and they lowered it to something a little bit more reasonable. So they went from a quadrillion percent to only 1,000,000%. Oh my God, this is a rug pull. It's a rug pull. Look. It's written right there. It says rug pull. The sheeple said it's a rug pull, so it's got to be a rug pull, right? Look, all the sheeple are saying it's a rug pull. I got to dump my token now. It's no good. It's only giving me 1,000,000%. It went from a quadrillion% to a single 1,000,000%. It's shit, right? It's a shit coin. And they're doing a rug pull. They're stealing my freaking money. Do you see how stupid this is? You see how stupid those sheeple are? They're all running off the cliff. And the more of them that are running off the cliff, the more they're pushing the price of the token down and down and lower and lower and lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. It's senseless. They're not using logic. And I'll bet you that many of them didn't even try to stake their tokens. They think it's Shiba Inu or something, or Doge or whatever, and they say, okay, buy low, sell high, but they do the opposite. They buy high and sell low. They don't even know they need to stake. How do I know that? I go on several of these projects and I see ridiculously low staking percentages. There's something like 60%, 65% of the people are staked. Good God. That means it's like 35 to 40% of the people not earning interest, not earning the APY on their tokens. What the hell are they doing with it? I have no idea. And that's why I keep insisting on this at every video that when I talk about an on fork. Stake your tokens. Otherwise, you're losing out on those super high APYs. So let's look at some actual examples of panic selling and sheeple acting up. Now, this project has been doing relatively well, okay, despite the flurry of people selling the tokens. I think it's because the people behind the project are more in touch with the token holders. I forget what name he calls himself, but anyway, one of the guys in charge does an AMA at least once a week, and he talks for like a couple of hours about the project and so on, so a lot of people listen to him. And the Discord's has a lot of information about the project and so on, what their plans are, and he's building alliances and doing all kinds of things. So he seems to be doing the right thing. As you can see, the price of the token is quite low. It's barely above the backing. What is the backing? Well, that's how much cash in the treasury per token. So you're paying right now $71, okay, for $61 of backing. So it's a tiny premium of about $10 per token. That's nothing. It's, if you look at Wonderland, for instance, this is the backing per time. This is the price. Okay, several $1,000s of premium paid here because they know how profitable this project is. Okay, so it's normal for this project to have a much higher premium. Okay, simply because the treasury is a cash machine. Now, Hector DAO is much younger. Sorry, Hector here. But as you can see, they managed to keep their treasury growing and growing and growing, which is fantastic. So that's very, very good. And their runway also seems to be growing pretty well, which is good. Now look here. This is the percentage of stake tokens, only 86%. 88? Let me check that. Yeah, 88%. This is like 12% of the people not staking. What on earth are they doing? Don't they want, how much percentage now? Don't they want this 89,000%? Why are you buying those tokens? They look pretty? You're going to put them on your hat? Like, what the hell? Wake up, stake your tokens, okay? And stop buying and selling, Just stake your token. So let's look at another project that at the beginning looked pretty much as solid as Hector DAO. For a while, I thought that they were copying each other because the data looked almost the same for the first few weeks. And right now, it doesn't look as good. However, I still think it's quite strong because there's still a ton of money in the treasury. Look, $73 million. That's nothing to, you know, that's really great. 73 million. That's a lot of cash. They still managed to keep all that in their treasury. Of course, Hector is growing its treasury, and this one, it went down a bit. But still, that's quite good. Now, what is stupid is the price of the token compared to how much money there is in the treasury per token. It's 3 times as much. This is the biggest bargain around. You're paying $20 to get $62. Think about it. At some point, somebody's going to wake up, smell the treasury, and discover that, yeah, I'm paying a third of the price. I'm paying basically 67% off for that treasury here. This is a bargain. I don't know if it's going to go down again further tomorrow. I don't know what the Sheeple are going to be doing because they're not using logic. Why is this project going like this? I don't know. Some people don't like the promoter behind it, I guess. Whatever. Okay? That's not important. The important is the real hard facts. There's a ton of cash here, and there's way too much cash per token than the price is. So the low price here is not justified, in my opinion. Absolutely not. Now, what we're seeing here, okay, is this big jump in the runway, which is almost 2 years now. Why? Because I think the guys in charge decided, the heck with this APY war. We're just going to keep a sustainable APY to maintain the treasury. So what they decided to do, they lowered the APY to a single $1,000. Sorry, what am I saying? Single 1,000%. By having a relatively lower APY, I mean 1,000% is still great. Where else are you gonna get 1,000%? Right? Think about that. So I think they pushed it down a little too much. Personally, I would have kept it, I don't know, maybe around whatever the rate is at Olympus DAO, 6,000-7,000%, something like that. That might have been better. But I'm guessing that they looked at the numbers here and they figured, well, we're in a crisis. We don't want the treasury to run off too low. So we're going to lower the APY. Obviously, that made the Sheeple dump the token, and that's why it's so cheap. But basically, the people that are staying in the system and are stake right now, they are more loyal because they figure, I know how to do math. I can use the calculator. Do you have a calculator on this one? No, they don't. Maybe they should have. But they know how to do math, and they know that in a year, even at 1,000%, their investment is going to multiply. So, and again, look at the number of people that are staked, 61%. That means 39% are holding their tokens, I don't know for what. They're not even earning the 1,000% of their APY that is advertised right now. What on earth are they doing? I mean, if you don't like your token, give them to me. I'll stake them. Give them. Come on, I'll take them. You know, send me a message, a DM on my Twitter, and I'll give you my wallet address, and you can dump all your tokens for free. I'm not buying them. You just dump them. And then I'll stake them. Well, obviously you don't like the tokens. You're not even staking them. So if they're useless to you, give them to me. Now here's a project that I think it might be in trouble. That's MidasDAO. I'm not saying it's in trouble because the price of the token tanked considerably. I'm more concerned about its treasury. Okay, the treasury balance is here. It went from about almost 20 million down to a single million right now. That doesn't look good. So I don't know what was in the treasury. Maybe it was just their own token. They didn't seem to have a lot of other tokens. And I think that's why it went down so much. Okay, maybe they didn't diversify their portfolio enough. And that's why it took such a dive. Because, I mean, this project had a super high APY for a while. And obviously they couldn't sustain it. And they had to lower it. Okay? And again, look, only 83% of the people are staked. So there's like 17% of the people doing I don't know what with their tokens. It's ridiculous. Now, if we look at the stake page, I mean, 185,000% is still fantastic. What's wrong with those sheeple? Don't you like making money? I mean, you're not staking. You're selling the token too cheap. The hell, you know? I don't know. All right, another project that people love to hate. I don't know why. There's nothing wrong with this project that I can see. Okay, all right. Those are the same people that did Smart Coin, and I don't understand Smart Coin personally. I'll be very frank. And I'm not attracted to the Smart Coin project itself. However, I think Jade has been doing okay. Look at this. There's a lot of cash here. What's that number? 70 million. It's 70 million. 70 million. There are not a lot of home forks that manage to gather that much cash since their inception about a month ago. A lot of them have a lot less, like around 10 million or less. We just saw with Midas, they only have 1 million right now. 70 million! That's a lot! Why is the price of the token so low? Oh, they lowered the APY to 65,000%. What's wrong with 65,000%? What's wrong with the sheeple people? Okay? 65,000% is fantastic. you're complaining with your stomach full. That's what my mom would call it. You're such crybabies. I'm talking about the sheeple that dumped this token. Why is this so cheap? That makes no sense. This is a bargain. There's way more money in the treasury than this price here. Way more. Look, there's 1.5 million tokens. It's 70 million here. Divide 70 by this. Okay, if I take my calculator, okay, 70 divided by 1.5, it's $46. $46 per token in the treasury. And people dump the token at 25 bucks. The hell is wrong with those sheeple? You're paying 25 bucks for $46 of treasury. There's no logic here. If you happen to be in Jade, just follow the success recipe, which is you buy, you stake, you chill. That's it. That's it. You don't need to do anything else. And if you got look, it's still risky. Okay, I'm going. All these projects are very risky. They're very young. We don't know if they're gonna last. Okay, Olympus DAO, I'm pretty confident it's gonna last because it's been around about 10 months now. Wonderland, I'm pretty sure it's gonna last because it's a multi-billion-dollar project already. Okay, and it's part of a very large group of projects. It's about $12 billion altogether. If you count Abracadabra, Wonderland, Popsicle, and now Sushi, okay, they're all going to be managed by Daniele and his team. Altogether, that's a $12 billion ecosystem, and each part is integrated. I see a very bright future for Wonderland and the rest of that group. Daniele is very smart, and he hired a lot of very smart people to join his team. Okay, he's not doing all this alone. Okay, there's a lot of smart people in those projects. So I'm pretty confident on Wonderland and Olympus DAO. Now, all the other own forks, some of them are going to last, some of them are going to die, and that was to be expected. In every single one of my videos about any of these forks, I keep saying this is risky, this is risky, this is risky. Some are I have a little bit more confidence on because the team has been KYC, they did audits or whatever. Now this team, for instance, has been KYC. Their Smarter Coin project was audited. This one's not yet audited, but we know we know that that the team, okay, is serious about this project. Okay, so I'm hopeful that it's going to last, and I'm hopeful it's going to build something successful. I don't know why people keep, trolling about this one. There's no logical reason. All right. Anyway, so if we look at Wonderland, okay, all the own forks should use Wonderland as their model. What did Wonderland do? They started at 30,000%, which was at that time unheard of. And a lot of people, when I did my first video in September, said, oh, it's a scam, it's not gonna work. And now look at the APY, 69,000%, and at one point it went as high as 90,000%. Why? Because the treasury makes so much cash. This thing keeps on growing. Okay, it went down for a short while when the entire market collapsed. And now it's rebuilding itself and it's growing bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm very confident, unless the market crashes yet again, in the meantime, that this is going to be over $1 billion in January or February of next year. Okay? It's hard to stop a big money-making machine like this, okay, when it's got this kind of size. Because there's momentum, and it keeps on building and building and building and building, especially now that it's going to be integrated in a very large $12 billion group. Okay? It's going to be pretty fantastic. So even if you bought the token at the height, which was around $10,000, okay, was around here, and now it's here. So it went down as low as 3,000. It's back up around 4,000. Don't despair. There's a ton of cash here, and use the calculator. I'm gonna do it quickly, okay, because I've done it so many times, okay. Even if you'd only bought one token, okay, and let's say you paid too much for it, 10,000, and let's say the market crashes again and it's only 2,000. I'm making even worse than it was, okay? And let's say we're reducing this in half, 30,000. All right? Okay, these are incredibly bad numbers for Wonderland. Okay? I'm making this as bad as possible. Okay? I mean, it could be even worse than that, I guess. But these numbers are lower than anything we've seen so far. And let's say you stay stuck for a year. You originally paid $10,000. How much money do you have here? After a year, you have $597,000. And how much effort do you have to spend to do this? None. None. You have nothing to do. This is passive income at its best. You buy one token, you stake your one token, even if you pay too much for it, and you leave it there for a year. End of story. Finished. That's it. Even if the price of the token tanks, okay, by 80% from the price you paid, you still end up having over $500,000 in your pocket after a year. It doesn't get any better than this. Well, it could get better than this if we are able to maintain today's APY. Look how much money you'd have, right? 1.3 million. And let's say the price of the token stays around the current price. How much would you have? Almost 3 million. I mean, with zero effort, people, zero effort. All you have to do is stay state and chill for about a year, and you end up with this amount of cash, even if you bought a single token. And even if you paid more than the current price of the token. And even if the price of the token stays low all year long. All right. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hopefully you understand not to act like a sheep. All right. So if you like this kind of stuff, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell. Download the free book. It's free. All you have to do is enter your name, your email address, and hit the submit button. And then you get a big fat button that says download the free book. And if you miss that button, we're sending you an email with another big fat button that says download the free book. And if you don't like free books, you go to Amazon, you pay $5.99, you give that to Jeff Bezos, and Jeff will send me a whole $1. See you.